Hello and welcome to Conversations with Leanne. Each week we explore everyday life through both the spiritual side and the human side, offering thoughtful perspectives that encourage curiosity, understanding, and reflection. Not to tell you what to believe, simply to invite another way of looking at life. Today I'd like to talk about intuition. It's one of those words that almost everyone has heard. Yet, if you ask 10 people what intuition means, you'd probably receive 10 different answers. Have you ever been about to make a decision and something deep inside simply said, "Don't do it"? Or perhaps you've met someone for the first time and instantly felt comfortable, as though you've known them forever? Maybe you've walked into a room and something just didn't feel quite right. Most of us have experienced moments like these. The question is, what are we actually experiencing? From a spiritual perspective, intuition is often described as our inner guidance, our sixth sense, or what many people refer to as one of the clairs. It's that quiet knowing that seems to arrive before we've had time to think. Sometimes it comes as a feeling in our body, butterflies in our stomach, or goosebumps. Sometimes the hairs stand up on the back of our neck. For others, it might be a picture that flashes into their mind, or a word they keep hearing, or simply an unshakable feeling that they need to go in a different direction. Many spiritual traditions believe this guidance comes from our higher self, that wiser part of us that already knows who we are becoming and gently encourages us towards what is in our highest good. Whether that's your belief or not, I think many of us can relate to those moments when we simply know something without being able to explain why. Now let's look at the same experience through a different lens. From a human perspective, our brains are extraordinary. Every second they are processing thousands of pieces of information that never reach our conscious awareness. Tiny changes in someone's facial expression, the tone of their voice, their body language, past experiences we've forgotten we have even had, or patterns our brain has recognized over many years. Sometimes what we call intuition may actually be our subconscious mind quietly putting all of those pieces together before our conscious mind catches up. Have you ever driven home and realized you can't remember part of the journey? Your brain knew exactly what it was doing. It was processing without you consciously thinking about every turn. Perhaps intuition works in a similar way. Not because it's magical, but because our minds are constantly gathering information beneath the surface. So, which perspective is right? The spiritual one or the human one? Perhaps both offer something worth considering. Whether intuition comes from your higher self, your subconscious mind, or perhaps a combination of both. Both perspectives invite us to do something that modern life doesn't encourage very often. To pause, to become quieter, to listen. Because when we're constantly rushing, constantly distracted, constantly filling every moment with noise, it's very difficult to hear ourselves. So, how do we begin strengthening our intuition? I don't think it starts with trying to become more psychic. I think it starts with becoming more present, taking a few quiet moments each day, breathing, listening, journaling, asking yourself a question and noticing the very first thought or feeling before your mind begins analyzing everything. Some people enjoy working with oracle cards, others use intuitive guidance cards. You can even use an ordinary deck of playing cards. Simply shuffling and then putting them all down, all face down, taking a moment and then picking up one card, looking at it, and then just looking at the cards and be drawn to another card. The more we practice, the more we will then start strengthening and believing in our intuition. Over the years, I've also created an intuitive guidance deck, not because I believe a deck of cards has all the answers, but because I found that sometimes a single word or message can help us pause, reflect, and notice what is already happening within us. So perhaps this week, rather than asking, is intuition real? Maybe ask yourself a different question. How often do I ignore what I already know? You don't need to have all the answers. Just become curious. Notice those quiet moments. Notice what your body is telling you. Notice what keeps returning to your thoughts. Whether you see that as spiritual guidance, your subconscious mind, or simply learning to trust yourself. Perhaps the invitation is the same, to listen a little more closely. Thank you for joining me for another Conversations with Leanne. Until next week, take gentle care of yourself. Believe and trust. I am Leanne.